Roberts described the experience of falling in love with Mota as terrifying when Oprah Winfrey asked the Notting Hill star about it. Her explanation continued, "They've been married since 2002 and have 3 kids. But Roberts reportedly has trust issues with Mota." Celeb Dirty Laundry claimed Roberts fears he's cheating on her and will eventually leave her. It's clear that Julia Roberts' world is crumbling behind her infectious smile. She may be a beloved Hollywood celebrity with a huge salary, but her life is anything but idyllic. Rumors of Roberts' hidden marital problems have circulated for quite some time. Even though it's obvious that most of the claims that Danny Mota is a runaway husband are false, some sources continue to make them. The reality is full with tragedy, betrayal, and heartbreak behind all the glitter and glamour. Julia is facing a mountain of problems, including whispers about her deteriorating health, an unhappy marriage, and strained connections within her family. Why has this tragic turn of events occurred? In the face of all the upheaval, how is she managing? Come find out the terrible news about Julia Roberts' failed marriage with us. The value of a good marriage was instilled in Julia Roberts from an early age. Both of her parents met on stage while acting for the United States National Theatre. They were married in 1955 after serving in the military. Her mother filed for and later secured a divorce from her husband in 1971, ending their marriage. Following the breakup, Julia remained a resident of Smyrna, Georgia, where she went to elementary, middle, and high schools in the area, including Fitzhugh Lee, Griffin, and Campbell. There were worse lessons for Julia to learn in life than the devastating breakup of her parents' marriage. Her mother's marriage to Michael Motes, who caused more problems than he solved, took place in 1972. His violent behavior, frequent unemployment, and toxic work atmosphere were enough to make Julia sick to her stomach. Julia was profoundly affected by the mental and emotional toll that this marriage took. Betty Lou, her mother, thankfully termed the troubled marriage the worst decision she had ever made when it ended in 1983. This was before Julia had already suffered another devastating loss. At the tender age of 10, her father succumbed to cancer. She had a great burden throughout her youth due to the fact that she lost him at such a young age. It was love at first sight when Julia met Danny Mota. They are still deeply dedicated to one another after 17 years of marriage, and they take great pride in the fact that they are best friends after all this time. According to an insider, their love for each other is profound and ever-expanding. Initially met in 2000 on set of The Mexican, Danny served as the film's sound mixer, and Julia portrayed Brad Pitt's on-screen love interest. While Julia was seeing actor Benjamin Bratt, Danny was wed to makeup artist Vera Steinberg. Their nearly 4-year romance had ended by June 2001 between Julia and Benjamin, while Danny's divorce from Vera was formalized in early 2002. They each needed time to figure out their life on their own before they fell in love, Julia revealed to Oprah later. Julia and Danny secretly wed on her 82-acre ranch outside Taos, New Mexico, just 2 years after their engagement. Their loved ones were taken by surprise. At midnight, with the help of lights and a romantic backdrop of rose petals, the couple exchanged handwritten vows, surprising their guests who had thought it was an Independence Day celebration. Michael Dennison, Julia's friend and the designer of her wedding dress, a pale pink number adorned with pearls and hand-painted flowers, described the happy pair as being very much in love. On the other hand, whispers abound that the love they once had has vanished. Their 22-year marriage is reportedly going through a rough patch, according to recent sources. Their wedding anniversary was just celebrated on July 4, which was their 22nd. Unfortunately, things aren't as rosy as they appear. Their return to Malibu, after selling their $11 million San Francisco property, was one of the most significant changes, according to a source. Danny, who was homesick for his surfing and film business pals, was the intended beneficiary of this change. However, they are still not closer as a result. In reality, they appear more estranged from one another, as they frequently reside in separate homes and have independent lifestyles. Meanwhile, Julia has been devoting herself fully to her profession, and Danny has re-established contact with his film industry contacts and beach pals, while their son, Henry, 17, and twin daughters, Hazel and Finesse, 19, grew older and more self-reliant. Julia has been giving her all attention to her job as of late. Everyone is curious about the reason behind the increasing gap between Julia and Danny, as they appear to be leading separate lives. The temple workers continued to assert that the couple lived apart for 4 years after there were no indications of a divorce. Are Julia's marital problems stemming from her obsession with her successful career? Or are there more systemic factors at work? Obsessed with expansion. Julia has always been driven to overcome her humble origins, which is not surprising given that she grew up in an impoverished household. Sitting back and letting life happen was never her style. She has never shied away from a challenge. She joined the school band and played clarinet while fantasizing about a career in veterinary medicine. Her aspirations shifted after graduating from Campbell and Smyrna High School, and she set out for New York City to pursue her acting career. She got her foot in the door by enrolling in acting school and signing with a small modeling agency. Her breakout role as a child rape victim on Crime Story was a daring start to her acting career. Although this was a challenging position to begin with, it demonstrated her courage to tackle complex roles. Shortly thereafter, she made her film debut in the comedy Satisfaction, playing the role of a band member looking for a summer gig. The picture may not have been a box office smash, but it did lay the groundwork for subsequent hits. She was also in Blood Red at the time, albeit in a much smaller capacity. Working with her brother, Eric Roberts, in the role, there wasn't much of a boost to her career from the film because she hardly had 2 lines of conversation, and it wasn't released for years. Julia, though, didn't have to wait long for her first taste of true success. Her breakout role was as a teenage Portuguese-American pizza business server in Mystic Pizza. Her charismatic personality and intense stage presence won over audiences and reviewers alike. Renowned film critic Roger Ebert praised her as a major beauty with fierce energy and said that the picture would be known for introducing audiences to future Hollywood stars. Someone I know is fond of Daisy. Even if I were to describe myself as a bombshell, I would be unsure. Truly, he was correct. After that, Julia's career skyrocketed. Steel Magnolias, a film about friendship, family, and loss, was Julia's next big role following Mystic Pizza. Along with Shirley MacLaine, Dolly Parton, and Sally Field, she portrayed Shelby, a young bride dealing with diabetes. Curiously, Laura Dern and Winona Ryder were among the women the producers considered before casting Julia. But the studio ultimately decided to go with Julia because of her charisma and infectious smile, even though she had a hard time getting along with her Burt Ross, the film's stern director. She was nominated for a Golden Globe and won for Best Supporting Actress at the Oscars for the performance she gave. Her brilliance was so obvious that Hollywood took notice. The romantic comedy Pretty Woman, in which Julia portrayed the endearing and vivacious Vivian Ward, had a profound impact on her career in 1990. Everyone loved the movie, earning more than $460 million globally and establishing Julia as a well-known figure. She was nominated for 2 Oscars and took home another Golden Globe for her role. Famous actors like Michelle Pfeiffer and Meg Ryan were considered for the part until Julia's brilliant performance made her stand out. Flatliners, Sleeping with the Enemy, and Steven Spielberg's Hook, in which Julia played Tinkerbell, were more highlights in Julia's career ascent. Her performances were consistently outstanding, even if her films were met with varied reviews. She proved she could tackle more serious dramatic parts after taking a short sabbatical from acting with Denzel Washington's The Pelican Brief. Romantic comedies were Julia's bread and butter again by the late 90s. She demonstrated her talent for juggling comedic and dramatic roles in the smash hit My Best Friend's Wedding. Cast as an acclaimed actress who develops feelings for a modest bookstore owner, she starred in Notting Hill. Curiously, Danny is Red Om, her spouse, the reverse spelling of Motor's last name. Julia has served as executive producer for numerous projects under this firm, including her own films such as Eat, Pray, Love, and the series Homecoming. In addition, the studio was responsible for the first 4 features in the American Girl film series, which animated the lives of popular dolls and their storylines for a younger demographic. Even in the beauty and fashion industries, Julia has left her mark. She helped with Joe Biden's 2024 re-election campaign and contributed to his fundraising efforts right up until he dropped out. She wants to make the world a better place, and she can utilize her influence